So we're going to go over substitution to solve a limit. So what we mean by that is we have the limit as x approaches 0, and we know that if we plug in the value of 0 into x, we have an undefined value. But it really doesn't look like...
Doesn't the fraction mean you can like put it on the bottom or something?
This here?
Yeah.
If it's a negative, we could always put it as a negative exponent to move something to the bottom.
Oh,
You're right.
okay.
But what we're going to do here is we're going to actually use some substitution on top. It really looks like we can't do any simplifying. But what we're going to try to do is equate some values to make this a simpler question to look at. Okay? So what that means is, in this question, I'm going to put let x plus 8 power of a third equal the value of u. Okay? Which then means, so therefore, x plus 8 is equal to u cubed. Okay? If I were to cube both sides of an equation, I would eliminate our third root here and cube the u. So we have two new equations, so we're going to use these values to sub into our limit to see if we can change anything. Okay? By definition then, we can actually equate this to x, right? Since that's the case, therefore, x is then equal to u cubed minus 8. And the reason I want to set it equal to x is because at the bottom, I would like to replace it with our new substitution. And on the top of this limit, we'll be replacing that with our value of u. So now we're going to be writing everything as variables of u. Now, a lot of the times what to do is to get you to reevaluate your limit. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to simplify in u and then go back to the limit of x so that we don't have to change our limit. So I'm just going to simplify this equation a bit. This equation will now read u minus 2 over, and this is just a simplification process. And we're replacing the x with u cubed minus 8. Now the u cubed minus 8 has given us a difference of cubes. Okay? And I've written the two rules up here. The one we need to use is this one here, which says that the factored form of the difference of two cubes is the cubed root of both values as a binomial multiplied by a trinomial of the squared value of the cubed root, the two cube roots times each other, and the squared value of the cubed root again. This can be confusing to look at. Okay? So I'm putting equal signs here because we're not really in our limit right now. Okay, I'm just simplifying over on the side. I'm going to keep the u minus 2 on top. And when we factor a difference of cubes, well, I know the cubed root of u cubed is just u. And I know the cubed root of the value of 8 is 2. So that's going to be our a and our b in this factored form. So this says our factored form is a minus b, which means we then have u minus 2 multiplied by a squared. Well, that's going to be u squared plus a times b. Well, that gives us 2u plus b squared. Well, b is our value of 2, so 2 squared is 4. Now that we've done that, we can now simplify our rational function. We have 1 over u squared plus 2u plus 4 in this case. Okay? Now what we're going to do is, can I factor this value actually? No, I don't think we can. No, not easily. U plus 2 squared. Yes, you're right. We then have a perfect square trinomial on the bottom. If we do u squared and u squared, no, hold on. No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. It's not. We can't actually factor from there. Yeah, it would have to be 4 in the middle then. Okay, that's fine from where we are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this value. We're going to now put back what we had before. We know that u is equal to x plus 8 and our cubed root. Okay? So we're going to plug these values back in for our u's, okay? So that we can now go back into our limit form. So my limit of x as it approaches 0, okay, is now, again, 1 over, and we get x plus 8 and then this exponent is multiplied by the other exponent of 2 here. So you have to remember your exponent rules when going through this part. Plus 2 times x plus 8 cubed plus the value of 4. Okay? And we're going to write this a little more clearly on the bottom. So let's come down again. Our limit as x approaches 0 is still over 1. But what this gives us now is we have, and we can plug in our value of 0 to help simplify this, because when we plug 0 in, we'll no longer have 0 on the bottom of the equation. We know we'll have at least the value of 4. Hopefully these two don't equate to 4 in the process, and we'll check to make sure. So we'll simplify some of this. This then becomes x plus 8, and this is 2 over 3, okay? Which means we find the third root of it and then square that value, plus 2x plus 16 plus 4. Okay? All of that will equate to, and I'm going to do this in one step here, 20. Oh, sorry, you're right. I forgot I wrote that there. I didn't notice that. I apologize. We're going to have to leave that as is. 2 plus 8 third plus 4. Good thing you noticed that. Okay, good. What we'll do from here is we'll sub in our value of 0 and see if it's made any progress for us. So when we plug 0 in, our limit as x approaches 0, we end up with 8, and we're going to be looking for the cubed root. And I'm going to write it as actually a root just so it's a little clearer to you. We're looking for the cubed root of 8 squared. Okay. Over here, we're going to have the same idea, except we'll have 2 times the cubed root of 8, okay, and then plus the value of 4. These on the bottom are limit as x approaches 0. We'll still have 1 over. The cubed root of 8 is 2. 2 squared will give us 4. Cubed root of 8 is 2. 2 times 4 again, and 4 one more time. So our limit as x approaches 0 in this question is 1 over 12. Okay. So as the x value gets closer and closer to 0, our y value is getting closer and closer to 1 over 12. Okay. So we had to use our substitution to help us simplify. And once we simplified, we were able to plug our values back in and solve for this limit. Let's do a question similar to it. Again, I cannot plug our value of 4 directly in, because if I find the square root of 4, I have 2, and then 2 cubed is 8. I'd have 8 minus 8, undefined value when plugged in. So we need to simplify this question a little. We'll do the same idea again. Okay? I'm going to take, and we can call it any variable we like. Root x is equal to, let's use u again, okay? Which means the value of x is then equal to u squared. Okay, so let therefore x equals u squared. So now we're going to plug in our values of u into this question. Okay? So again, with the simplifying process, I'm not going to change the limit to a u because we're going to substitute back in the end. I just want to do some simplifying on the side. So our root x can be equal to u minus 2, very similar on top. And on the bottom here, well, this question is almost identical to the last one. We have a value of u, but cubed, minus 8. This is identical. So we already know what to do here. I really shouldn't have chosen this example. I'm going to cut this part of the video. Do you guys know where to go from here? I'll let you guys work from here, because that's